I apologize, sir. This floor is off limits to outsiders since it holds a great deal of sensitive information. Isn't the office of the cleaning firm located in the basement? Move quickly and begin moving. These days, the younger workers lack enthusiasm. I told myself that as I approached 60 and the threshold of retirement. It makes sense that the younger staff members wouldn't know who I am given my abrupt arrival at the corporate office. Ultimately, it doesn't matter who I should be. I just go about my work. I'm in my late 50s, and my name is Michael. In most organizations, I would be seen as being nearing retirement age for an average salaried worker. The business that I found admirable creates internet games. It all began in a small room with just 2 people and 2 computers. The company had developed to such an extent that before we realized it, its offices were housed in a skyscraper with a level too bright to see. This time, I was called in for work, but because so many new hires have been joining in the interim, I wasn't sure if I could handle it. Excuse me, you're in the way. I'm terribly sorry. I wasn't blocking the entrance on purpose. I was just standing there, but the corridor was enough wide for them to pass effortlessly. I was a little irritated that my tranquil morning had been interrupted, but I gave the man a courteous apology and moved aside. Rural bumpkin. Don't just sit there and zonk out. The man who walked past and mumbled this also gave me a loud click of his tongue. Having already made my employee badge, I went into the business. This was how I thought the development department operated. I was disoriented in the building full of rooms that looked sane because I didn't often visit the headquarters. Then I recognized the man who had abused me at the door. The man appeared to recognize me as soon as he saw my glance and remarked, "Ah, hold on, sir. This floor is off limits to outsiders due to numerous confidential concerns. The basement is where the cleaning company's office is meant to locate. Go quickly." Given what I was wearing, the man must have assumed I was a cleaning. He held up his hand dismissively. "Oh no, that's not it. You see, I'm occupied right now. Go ahead and finish your cleaning." The man was gazing at me as if to make sure I would hurry off the floor, and showed no sign of listening to me. I said I was sorry for disturbing you. I wore a checkered shirt and a casual blazer today. My lack of a tie led them to likely assume that I wasn't a corporate employee. I reluctantly chose to do as the man had instructed. The man swiftly grabbed my hand and pressed the elevator button just as I was ready to get out of the elevator. "This isn't your own elevator, old man, so listen up. Go up the stairs." That's what the man said to me, looking all smug. I was annoyed because I knew he was trying to minimize my significance, but expressing fury would serve him better. I resisted the need to speak, and I grinned broadly as I said, "You're correct. I apologize profusely for the inconvenience." After saying that, I looked at the man's work badge. The text said, ***, Brandon Taylor ***. Brandon. I might as well remember that. I committed Brandon's face to memory, even though I felt it was inappropriate, and made my way up the stairs. Thinking about all the floors as I slowly descended the stairs, I came to the realization that at my age, it was really impossible and that I might just collapse. I felt like I was exercising well for the first few steps, but I soon found myself out of breath. I was in the cafeteria when I cautiously emerged into the corridor. I'm relieved about this. I'll stop here for a moment before contacting you. I got an iced coffee and drank nearly half of it at once, thinking this. My phone then started ringing. "Hello, this is Michael speaking." Hey, where are you at this moment? I have been anticipating your call. When you get to the station, let me know, and I'll send a car to come get you. Oh, I'm Curl. I pulled myself together. It could be a good idea to have a peek around the corporate office to check how things are currently set up, and who works here. So I feigned that I was still on the way. I apologize. I have not yet arrived at the station. I'll give you a call back when I get there. Thankfully, I haven't visited headquarters in 20 years. Not many people know me, especially with so many young staff like Brandon. In the huge edifice, I felt like a kid playing hide and seek. I could come out as suspicious to someone like Brandon if I go around too much. I made the decision to disappear. Then a female came over. She appeared to be involved with the cafeteria cook in some way. She looked to be in her late 30s based on her appearance and mannerisms. She was wearing a suit and looked elegant. She appeared to be the secretary of the CEO and was carrying a tablet and a planner. She gave off the impression of being a taskmaster. She walked up to the chef in the kitchen, clicking her heels, and said, "Good morning. Please make lunch for two, as usual, since Mr. Smith will be having a significant guest today." Usually in the country, this woman reminded me of a character from a television show. As I watched her, it occurred to me that a CEO really needed to have a good eye for people. She looked at me as she saw my stare. She looked a little surprised to see me, but then she gave me a kind greeting. "Good morning. Are you having any problems?" "Ashley is my name," she inquired, possibly picking up on my mood. "Happy morning." "No, I just wanted to take a little break before work. Please pardon me," I answered. Despite her assurances not to worry, it's normal to be interested in a new face in the group. She regarded me suspiciously, as if I were an intruder, even though we were in a public cafeteria. Ashley graciously accompanied me to the elevator when I asked for directions to the development room. Ashley said, "The development room is at the end of this floor," as she left the elevator and made her way back to her own workspace. Since I was a stranger, I couldn't just enter a room and look around confidently, so I took a closer look. Loud sounds came from what appeared to be a meeting room. "Brandon, not once more. Please quit, or you'll be discovered someday," someone said something that I heard. I was curious, so I cautiously stepped up to listen in without being recognized. "To whom do you believe you are speaking?" Another voice said, "I could have you fired from this development department in no time." I glanced into the room and spotted Brandon, who had previously voiced his displeasure to me. Could Brandon be in a position of authority where he could fire someone from the department? I was concerned that HR would hire these kinds of people, and I wondered whether he had any contacts at the senior level. Brandon suddenly appeared where I was hiding, and our gazes locked. "Hey, are you still here, cleaning guy? Outsiders are not allowed in this area. Are you brand new? Go buy me a coffee now, please." Visibly agitated, Brandon yelled at me. Shocked to find myself in that predicament, I apologized right away. "I apologize for the inconvenience, understood." Brandon appeared slightly satisfied as I apologized and hurried away. The man who had been chatting to Brandon came up to me immediately after that. "How are you doing? Isn't he a real tough guy?" "I'm grateful. I'm to blame for listening in. Please pardon me, but did he steal anything significant from you?" I sensed the man was uncomfortable, so I asked. "That guy is related to someone important in HR, maybe a son or a relative," the man told me after giving me a worried glance. "He is not capable, which is why he was assigned to this department in the first place. He always acts busy while taking credit for other people's labor. He seems like a troublemaker. Is it a result of his HR connections?" I inquired. "Just keep it between us, okay?" The man indicated confidentiality by putting his index finger to his lips. "Yes, I will keep it to myself. That he's claiming credit for your effort, though, doesn't that upset you? Are you indifferent to the things you grow into?" "I detest it too, but I risk being expelled from development if I refuse. You know, I adore my work, but everything has its limits. I added a bug on the current data because of this. Brandon can't fix it. I can, for sure. It will be intriguing to observe the outcome," he remarked, a hint of annoyance in his tone. "Is Brandon not going to attempt to avenge you?" I remarked. "It's unbelievable that there are such immature adults around." "Well, when we go to that bridge, we'll cross it. It doesn't provide good results to work somewhere you can't execute your job well. I overshared with someone I recently met. I apologize, but I have to return to work." "Hey, can you tell me your name?" I inquired. "My name is Jason." "Oh, and don't worry, I'll grab the coffee." "No worries, everything is okay. Please return to your work. I was requested to do this, I urge." "All right then, thank you." Jason smiled brightly, waved, and returned to his job. I watched him go, and then I opened the note Ashley had given me. I gave her a call. "Ashley, it's Michael." "Yes, how can I assist you?" After only one ring, Ashley answered right away. "I'm really sorry to ask, But could you bring some coffee to the development room? Of course. What is the required number of cups? 1 is enough, please, I answered. I wondered why I was summoned to headquarters after 20 years as I hung up. Perhaps he had a feeling about the state of affairs. That's the reason he called me. I prodded myself to live up to his expectations and grabbed the development room's doorknob. Brandon was in front of me as I opened the door and walked in, getting ready to deliver what I assumed to be information that I had stolen from Jason. Brandon was staring straight ahead, unaware that I had entered. A man came up to me, thinking I was someone from outside, but he looked shocked to see me. As my name was going to be called, I gestured for silence so that Brandon could finish his presentation. With a clattering mechanical sound, the screen went black just as Brandon was finishing his explanation. When the screen came back up a few seconds later, pictures of Brandon being lazy were on show. Brandon was in a panic, not knowing how to halt the data. He ran out of the room, panting. The pictures captured a variety of moments, including Brandon ranting at Jason like a slideshow and sloppily taking naps. He moved to face the projector in an attempt to hide it, but the other staff members were giggling already. "Hey Brandon, you know that's your data? Stop it now," yelled someone. When his supervisor told him, Brandon looked like he was about to cry in response. Yes, that's strange. In a panic, Brandon clicked on the computer, but he had no idea how to stop it, so he just banged on it firmly. "Hey Jason, this is what you made, right? Now stop it." In his stress, Brandon unintentionally told everyone in the department that the data belonged to Jason. "Is this data owned by someone else?" "Jason, what kind of person are you?" the department head asked. "Please stop it." Then Brandon shoved Jason, looking flushed. "Jason, this was your doing, wasn't it?" Ignoring everyone else in the vicinity, Brandon seized Jason's collar and went up against him. I interrupted him just before he swung his right fist. "Brandon, put an end to this deplorable behavior immediately. Give Jason up." In horror, every person in the room turned to face me. The most shocked was Brandon, who turned to face me when his name was mentioned. Then, as if to vent his frustration on me, he yelled at me, "Hey, old man, don't you dare treat me like a rookie by acting all prim and proper. Where's that coffee?" When Ryan from the development department saw that Brandon was confronting me, he stepped in. "Ryan, do you even know who you're speaking to? Is this old man a new employee? Why is HR employing someone with his background?" Ryan sighed heavily upon hearing that. Ryan extended a heartfelt apology to me, and Brandon dismissed my question. "Chief Smith, I apologize profusely for this ugly scene and your impolite actions. Is it possible that the CEO told you about this?" "Smith? Although I haven't heard all the specifics, I had a feeling that something was up." Ashley showed up with a single cup of coffee just then. She came into the room, said, "Excuse me," and handed me the coffee. "Chairman Smith, sorry to keep you waiting." "I apologize for forcing you to do this, Ashley. I'm grateful." I gave Ashley's coffee and gave it to Brandon. "Here you go, Brandon." Brandon was obviously shaken, and he had lost all of his prior arrogance. "Chairman Smith, you're not a new hire. Thank you for the coffee." The scenario also unnerved the personnel in our immediate vicinity. Specifically, Jason Lai ran away. Then, with a hurried appearance, CEO Smith showed up. Ashley appeared to have seen the circumstances and been in touch with the CEO. The CEO came in frantically, spotted me, and said, "Brother, I'm sorry about this. Ashley informed me that you were already employed by the organization, which astonished me. Thus, what took place?" "Actually, I'm the elder brother of this company's CEO, Daniel Smith, and I also serve as its chairman in a ceremonial capacity. This disturbance resulted from the youthful staff, of course, not knowing who I was as a chairman who hadn't shown up at headquarters in 20 years. Daniel, I took a look at the development department, and well, there are quite a lot of issues. So my brother, you've seen it. I need to ask for a favor. Could you please return to the main office?" CEO Smith's request left me speechless. Once upon a time, when we were first starting the business together, I started to demand perfection from the growing number of workers, which caused tensions inside the organization. I became known behind my back as the demon when I yelled at staff members and demanded excessive overtime due to my stress over unreachable targets. The hostile environment at work resulted from the stressed employees' lack of enthusiasm to produce quality work. Observing Daniel constantly attempting to arbitrate between me and the staff while wearing a worried expression, I proposed taking a step back myself. After that, I withdrew to the country and started a small children's programming class while leading a simple life. Daniel quickly expanded the business we founded together into something much bigger on his own. He must have possessed a talent for administration. I felt in my gut that taking a step back at that moment, as I stood in front of the corporation and gazed up at the building. But I was shocked to discover, without realizing it, that I was still listed as chairman. A minute before, Brandon was saying something like, "Cross me, and I'll have you kicked out of the development department." What was the purpose of that? The president's brother said, "Oh, that was Brandon, who had mistaken me for a cleaner." Now he shuddered in amazement at realizing it. "Oh, that was just a personal rumor that I circulated. I reasoned that people would treat me better if they thought I was linked to a significant HR figure. You're truly remarkable. People can be persuaded to believe falsehoods by you. If you could put that gift to better use, that would be fantastic." I didn't mean to minimize Brandon. In all honesty, I thought his approach was rather juvenile, but it was astonishing how well he could spread rumors. "I'm sorry," said Brandon. "Shouldn't you be apologizing to Jason instead of to me?" I interrupted him. "You appear to have done him quite a bit of damage." Following that, Brandon turned to Jason and apologized while wearing a teary expression. "I apologize for everything, Jason. I've always found your creative ideas to be quite inspiring. I sincerely apologize for all I did." Brandon, CEO Daniel, who had up until now only been watching, spoke up. "So, Michael, how would you resolve this?" Daniel gave me a conspiratorial glance. "I understand. All right, all right. I'm going to be taking you under my wing for some rigorous training starting now, Brandon. And you'll start helping Jason going forward if you truly are sorry." Wait, I'm not being fired? I didn't let Brandon retract his previous rudeness and prepare for being fired. You know, I enjoy making the incapable become capable even more than I enjoy cooking. You will undergo change. I smiled happily as I said this, and a development department employee whispered, "The demon still holds." Brandon trembled like a puppy and shrank. "Even demons mellow out and become less scary with age," I continued. The CEO, Daniel, laughed heartily as he said this after 20 years and walked out of the development department. "A demon? Really? Brandon, you're very fortunate. Make sure you fully understand all the nuances." Jason said, "I want to learn too," appearing amused by Brandon's shakiness, but expressing a willingness to learn with him. "It's good to know that you wish to pick up tips from me." "Okay, Brandon, let's get going." "Yes, sir," Brandon said as he gave me a frightened expression. I concentrated on developing young talent as a new member of the development team. Brandon was starting to mature into a capable person, and Jason developed a strong attachment to me. The development room was no longer stressful as it was 20 years earlier. Instead, it was a place of fun. I'm finally enjoying corporate life after 20 years. Maybe in 20 years, even demons grow softer and lose their frightening power. I am approaching my 60th birthday and am having some of the best times of my life.